This video will contain spoilers.
In fact, his only true skill is sexual harassment. Once Reiko gets her hands on Jean, she takes him out easily. Hey, salutations my friends. This is part 2 of my video geeking out over the members of the Anten Seven, and it's gonna be a twofer this time. Last time we talked about Leilong, aka Shimi. A man so badass, he almost ended the series on episode 15. So, how do the remaining members of the Seven stack up? Let's find out. Lady Iraga is the next member of the Anten Seven to show up. So imagine this. You are an elite member of a notorious space pirate crew. Your boss orders you to eliminate some outlaw, and you, like a professional, travel to the outlaw's last known position to get shit done. But, as it turns out, there's a martial arts tournament going on nearby. What's the girl to do? I won't go over this episode in too much detail, but the plot goes like this. Jean has a friend by the name of Fred Lowe. A woman by the name of Reiko is in love with Fred Lowe. Fred is a happy bachelor who has no interest in marriage. Fred, instead of coming out and saying he doesn't want to be married, agrees to marry Reiko, but only if she wins the strongest woman in the universe competition 5 times consecutively. Fred figured even if she gets lucky once, there's no way she'll win 5 times in a row. There's no way. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may have guessed, by the start of episode 18, Reiko has already won the competition the last 4 years, and she's a favorite to win the 5th. That, my friends, is dedication. This woman knows what she wants and is doing everything she can to get it. So Fred begs Jean to do anything and everything within his power to make sure Reiko loses the competition. Jean, like a true friend, dresses up in drag and challenges Reiko in the tournament. This show came out back in 1998. I feel obligated to mention that for some reason. So Jean is facing off against Reiko. Unfortunately, despite being fairly well built, Jean isn't much of a martial artist. In fact, his only true skill is sexual harassment. Once Reiko gets her hands on Jean, she takes him out easily. So, it seems like Fred is gonna be forced to marry Muscle Mommy, but as luck would have it, Iraga manages to beat Reiko off screen in 19 seconds.
Flawless victory.
Yeah, the whole purpose of that story was for the Wharf effect. So, with the actual job done, Jean and the crew decide to enjoy the remainder of the tournament. After defeating Reiko, Iraga was obviously a favorite to win the tournament. However, there is another girl in the competition who goes by the moniker of Firecat. Firecat is definitely not Jean's crewmate, Aisha Clan, for you see, the Katara race has been banned from this competition. Which, as an aside, is totally racist. The Katara shouldn't be banned from an entire competition just because the last one that took part in it accidentally transformed into a werebeast and caused 984 fatalities and over 5,000 serious injuries. Apparently, this person got a bit too excited, transformed into a monster, and ended up attacking several members of the audience. That cannot be a good look, ladies and gentlemen. So, No, this is important. This is not Aisha Clan. This is Firecat. Firecat. Eventually, Iraga and Firecat make it to the finals. Iraga notices that Firecat is friends with her target, Jean Starwin, so she puts in 100%. After a short scuffle, Iraga decides to finish off Firecat, Mortal Kombat style. But Firecat manages to get out of her hold. Feet bros be eating good tonight. Firecat puts Iraga in her own hold and tries to force Iraga to submit. But Iraga accidentally reveals that inside her are two wolves, and both of them are horngry. With her cover blown, Iraga decides that playtime's over and goes straight for Jean. However, Firecat... I'm sorry, can we rewind that for just a moment? However, Firecat lifts her mask and reveals that she's actually Aisha Clan. And Aisha also has a beast inside of her, and that beast isn't into NTR. During the fight between the crew and the pirates, a fire starts in the arena. A combination of that, gunfire, and the realization that they're so close to a Katara causes the crowd to flee. The two werebeasts keep fighting even with the arena burning down around them. We never do get to see the complete fight between Aisha and Iraga, but ultimately, Aisha stands victorious.
Flawless victory.
The next one is the Lolly. She is introduced as a master of space combat with cats. And personally, I fucking hate her. Specifically, Hanmayo pilots a grappler ship called the Turarata. Grapplers are spaceships that have arms. The Outlaw Star is also a grappler. Unlike most grapplers, the Outlaw Star included, the Turarata arms can separate from the main body, which means that her opponent have to worry about 3 separate opponents, not one. Each of these arms is controlled by one of Hanmayo's cats. So Hanmayo shows up in episode 20. The crew is coming back from a boring mission when confronted by the Turarata. The male cat speaks with the crew, so naturally they assume the pilot of the ship is a male. The first battle does not go well for the Outlaw Star. Despite the ship being powered by fan service, the crew is forced to retreat to a nearby colony. During this time, Jim and Jean are constantly sniping at each other. Despite being much younger, Jim is the responsible one of the two, while Jean regularly spends his money drinking with women. So Jim goes over the combat data in order to develop a strategy to fight the Turarata. After working most of the night, Jim takes a walk around the colony and happens upon Hanmayo with her 2 cats. Their conversation is short, but it's clear that there's an instant attraction between the two. So the two agree to meet later on that afternoon. Since Jean is something of a ladies' man and Jim's de facto big brother, Jim decides to ask Jean for some lady advice.
Rules? Alright, this is your first step toward being a man, so feel free to ask the pro anything you want.
One moment, please. What is wrong with you? Bro, you should be on a list. So Jim settles on bringing her some flowers. The gift is well received, so the two spend most of the afternoon together and agree to meet again the following day. The next day arrives and the outlaw star takes off, fully expecting to be confronted by the Tararata. They aren't disappointed. I'm gonna remind you that neither Jim nor Hanmayo know that the other is on the opposing ship. Hanmayo is eager to take out the outlaw star so that she can prepare for her date with Jim. And because of Jim's strategy, the outlaw star manages to shoot down the Tararata.
A dead ship. The Tararata won't respond. Kemi, Mata.
My friends, the irony is literally causing me psychic damage. When the crew returns to the space colony, Jim runs over to the spot he's supposed to meet Hanmayo, but obviously she doesn't show up. Jim is obviously crushed by this. Jean's there to comfort Jim. Though we never find out what Jean says to Jim, the two end the episode on good terms. There are probably many lessons that the creators may have imparted in this episode. There's a lesson about the fleeting nature of young love. There's a lesson about brotherhood somewhere in here. But I would bring attention to this lesson above all others. If Hanmayo had been using dogs, she would have won. Though arguably not as big as a threat as Leilong, both Iraga and Hanmayo were close to killing Jean. They were each defeated by the efforts of his other crewmates. My friends, thank you for stopping by. I'll be concluding things in part 3 with the final 4 members of the Anten Seven. If you have enjoyed my random ramblings, please subscribe to the page and stay tuned for the next video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.